Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're in Flight Simulator 2020 and we're going to fly the Queen of the Skies, the 747 Intercontinental from KLAS McCarran International in Las Vegas, and a bit of a medium-sized sort of hop over to KABQ Albuquerque. Never been to Albuquerque before. If there's anyone watching who lives in Albuquerque, tell me what it's like to live in Albuquerque. Never seen the airport, never been there, got no idea. So that is where we are going today. It is around 425 nautical miles. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a bit of a video for dummies again, because I'm such a dummy, how easy it is to fly the default Boeing 747, set up the flight plan for the autopilot and do the ILS landing, all in one video, and it is dead simple. So if you're a bit of a dummy like me, you can do everything the easy way, keep it simple, and you'll be fine, and you will have a lot of fun. Okay, so here we are. The first place, we're going to put in our departure point, which will be here. McCarran International, we'll click on that and set that as departure. Okay, we're going to click a gate number as well, where our aircraft will be parked when we start the game. It's going to be here, 238. Gate 238, we'll click on that, set that as departure. Okay, so we come back out again, and we're going to look for Albuquerque. Where is Albuquerque? I might have lost it. Albuquerque, ALBUQ. It's a bit of a funny one to. There it is, Albuquerque Sunport, KABQ International. Okay, so you can see our flight plan there. That was dead easy, wasn't it? Now what we're going to do, we're going to set up for an ILS landing, and we're going to program the ILS into our plane's computer. Now you don't need any add-on software or hardware or all this other thing that these fancy, complicated, technical people are doing. You can do everything up here. You can set up your flight plan for your autopilot, and you can set up your ILS approach and landing. So now we've got the departure and the destination, and we're going up here on the left hand side at the top, just under the aircraft. We're going to click on low altitude airways. Doesn't mean to say we're going to be cruising at low altitude. We're going to cruise around about 30,000 feet. But I've put in there low altitude airways. Now we're coming over the right hand side, just under the label Albuquerque International Sunport Airport. We're going to click on approach, and we're going to go down to runway 08 or ILS 08. Click on that. Okay, and you'll find your flight plan, your ILS approach, and your ILS frequency number will be automatically installed into your autopilot, into your FMS, your plane's computer, and there you go. We have a perfect, smooth approach straight in to the runway 8, and the ILS frequency and everything is now programmed into the 747's computer. So there's basically nothing more to do. You don't need other software. You don't need to research and find out all the ILS numbers and frequencies. Everything is done for you on this page there. And there's your flight plan with your ILS approach. Everything programmed in already. We've selected the 747 Intercontinental, painted in the Emerald Harbour Air colours. So we're all ready to go. So let's click on fly. Now, if you missed my last video, I actually painted the PMDG 737-700 in Emerald Harbour Air colours, and it came out gorgeous, a beautiful aircraft. I did that on my last video. We took the PMDG 737-700 for a bit of a spin. There's a couple more little things to paint on it, so I have since painted it painted those other details. I had to put some textures and some colors on the engines, so I've since done that, and the aircraft is looking really sweet. So on my next video we're going to take the 737-700 from PMDG again, painted in the Emerald Harbour Air colors for a bit of a cruise, and you'll see how the paint job come up. Not 100% accurate, of course, but I love it. I think it came up really nice, and it compares well with the 747 in Flight Sim 2020. Okay, so here we are at the airport. Click on Ready to Fly. Our plane is parked at the gate. We're going to go up here to the menu, select our weather, time of day. We're going to depart at dawn, okay, just as the sun's coming up. It's a beautiful time of the day to fly. Not sure how many hours it's going to take us to get to Albuquerque, but I'm going to click on that. The weather, I'm just going to take it as it comes. So let's have a look outside the plane. And here we are. The sun's coming up there. Doesn't that look beautiful? There's our 747 painted in Emerald Harbour Air colours. What a lovely looking livery. A really old sort of style, classic sort of livery. The old classic sort of old-fashioned airline sort of colours and paint schemes and design. I quite like it. Sort of a classic look. Really cool, that. And the 737 came up really nice as well. So I think we're going to do a few flights in this virtual airline, Emerald Harbour Air, because I quite like it. Okay, so we've done all the flight plan. We've programmed all the ILS into our computer, our approach. Everything is done for us. Basically all we have to do now is get in, start up the aircraft and taxi and depart, and then I'm going to show you what I do with the autopilot, and that'll take us all the way to Albuquerque at around 30,000 feet on this beautiful sunny clear day here at Las Vegas. Okay, so let's jump in and get everything started, shall we? Okay, so here we are in the 747 cockpit. It is cold and dark. My co-pilot is just in the bathroom. When he gets back, he is going to go through the startup checklist. The flight engineer, he's going to go through the startup checklist and actually start the engines. And I'm going to take care of the ground services, the autopilot and the ILS and all those kind of things as well. So don't forget, you're never in an airliner like this by yourself. You always have a co-pilot. So if you're a dummy like me, do things the proper way. Share the tasks with your co-pilot. That makes your life easier, and you can concentrate on the fun things that you actually want to do. You don't have to start, you don't have to spend 25 minutes on the ground actually. I see my co-pilot's back now. You don't have to spend 25 minutes on the ground pushing buttons, levers, checking and talking absolutely about nothing, boring the ears off the people who are actually watching. You can actually get into the juicy stuff, into the fun stuff. So my co-pilot is working now. He is going through the checklist and he's starting up the engines, doing everything. I'm going to take care of the ground services. So let's get some things done here. Okay, we request a fuel supply. We're going to request baggage service. Okay, we're going to request. Cool, thank you guys. It's quite a big airport. It could take a while to get here, by the way. Request baggage services. Let's get that started. And we need the jetway connected as well. So our jetway is coming over. The catering truck will be underway very, very soon. But we will need to wait for that fuel truck to arrive just to make sure we've topped up on fuel. But we should be looking good.
request that you store your luggage and take your seat so we can have an on-time departure. For those passengers seated in a designated exit row, you may be called upon to open that exit in the event of an emergency. Please refer to the safety briefing card of the exit row information card located in the seat back pocket to ensure you meet the exit row criteria and understand the information. After carefully reviewing this card, if you believe you could be injured, do not wish to or cannot perform the function. Okay, so all our baggage is on board. The passengers are loaded. When I say the passengers are loaded, I don't mean they're all drunk. Hopefully they're all sober. And I don't mean they've got lots of money in their pockets. Loaded. You know what I mean. They're all on board, ready to go. We've detached the jetway. We have our fuel. We have our luggage. We have our catering. All our cream cakes, donuts, cheese and fish pies. We've got everything. So I think we are ready to request pushback now. We have disconnected our land power.
Forward boarding door has been closed. Once again, we do need all passengers to remain seated at this time. Please double check the security of your seatbelt. All electronic devices do need to be turned off and put away at this time. This does include all cellular phones and two-way pagers. Flight attendants, please prepare doors for departure and cross-check.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Have a good day. I actually know a guy that drives those little carts that push back all the jet planes. And it's actually a highly qualified job. There's a lot of training involved. Apparently they do around 100 pushbacks with their trainer before they're allowed to drive one of those tractors to actually push back an aeroplane all by themselves. So that is quite a skill. That is quite a lot of training. 100 pushbacks with a trainer, certified trainer, qualified person, before they're allowed to drive one of those pushback tractors themselves and do a pushback on their own. That is amazing. And yeah, very, very interesting talking to this guy. I met him just the other day and we had a good old chat. It was really interesting. I said, boy, I'd love to sit in that trolley with you. I'd love to sit in that tractor with you when you push back the jet planes, but there's very, very little chance of that happening, by the way. Of course. Okay, so we're taxiing to the active runway. We'll try and stay around about, travel around about 10 Ks, between 5 and 10 Ks. I think it's a safe speed to taxi to the runway. Beautiful day. Look at that. Hardly a cloud in the sky here at Las Vegas. Don't know what it'll be like at Albuquerque. We will find out when we get there or when we get closer. This is Flight Simulator. You just never know what's going to happen, to be honest.
It is a federal requirement to comply with crew member instructions and instructional signs. All flights are non-smoking. Smoking is prohibited in the lavatories. It is against federal law to tamper with, disable, or destroy any smoke detectors in the airplane lavatories. Please review the safety briefing card in your seat pocket for specific emergency information about this flight. Mask on and pull the elastic band over your head. Tighten the band by pulling on the tabs on both sides of the mask. Breathe normally. The plastic bag will not inflate. Put your mask on, then help others sitting next to you with their masks.
Okay, we just parked here just before we get onto the apron of the active runway, so I'm going to show you what I do to prepare for takeoff. First of all, I think we're going to lower our flaps. You can see if you go to the outside of the aircraft, you'll see your heads up display here. And I can lower my flaps down to 2. And the other thing I need to do is my trim. I need to bring my trim down to around about 15. I can always adjust that later. So you need your flaps down 2, or maybe 3. We'll find out if we need to adjust that. And the trim down to 15. Okay, just so that you get your nose up and you have a good amount of lift. As we climb out, we want about a 15 to 20 degree climb as we climb out of the airport. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the LNAV. I'm going to turn on the flight director. Turn on the LNAV. The speed, I won't turn that on yet. Flight director is on. Auto throttle I will arm as we are doing the climb out. Our speed, we're going to set our speed today at around about 250 initially, and we'll climb up, probably climb up a bit faster than that as we go. So I'll bring that up to around about 250 there. Our altitude today we're going to cruise at will be, I want to cruise at around about 29,000 feet. So we'll take the altitude up to 29. Now I'm not a technical sort of person, okay? I'm not a hardcore flight simmer or a pilot, so if you know anything better than me, please just make your comments below. I'm very, very happy to learn something, okay? I'm just going by what I glean over the odd YouTube videos and what I hear, so if I'm wrong, I can fine-tune that. Okay, so we've got our flaps down, we've got our trim set, we've got our flight director on. I think we are ready to actually taxi onto the runway and get ready to take off. Okay, so once you go over 140, you can almost feel the plane wanting to lift off the ground. So you just go with it, basically. You've got your flaps down, you've got your trim set down. You can literally just feel the plane wanting to lift off the ground. Okay, so flaps gear up. That's when you lift off, when you can actually feel the plane starting to sort of lift off by itself. Now we don't want the nose up too high. We've got to keep an eye on that. We only want about 15 degrees climb. Beautiful day, and there we are. There's the airport down there. What a beautiful view. Goodbye, Las Vegas. As you can see, we're climbing altitude quite nicely. Keeping it a straight line. We're not turning straight away. We're just going in a straight line while our speed and our altitude climbs a little bit more as we go. We don't want to be too confident. Okay, so I've turned on the autopilot. If we look down here, we've got the heading hold, the altitude and the speed autopilot on. Our speed is approaching the target speed, so let's bring up our flaps. We are coming up to 220. We really want to be heading towards our course now. Turn on LNAV and turn on LNAV, and that will cause the autopilot to follow our our GPS, the plan that we've programmed in. Let's just check that. We're a little bit off course here, so we've got to do a big loop around and to join up with our GPS. I was a bit slow doing all that. Quite a bit to think about when you take off. So with LNAV on, the autopilot on, we should start to come around now and intercept our GPS course. Bring our flaps up full. And there we go. Look at that scenery. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful clear day. The last few flights we've had have been quite cloudy, a little bit rainy, so it really is nice to have a lovely clear day for a change as we fly. Let's just check our course. Yep. As you can see here, with LNAV on, the plane is now turned around and is heading straight towards our GPS line here to take us to Albuquerque. And I think that's about all the hard work done for now, guys. We've taken off safely, and we're just now going to slowly climb up to our designated altitude. So we are still climbing, just nice and steadily. It's not a race. We haven't got full power on. We're only at about 38% power, 40% power. And we're just gently and slowly climbing to our target altitude. There's no rush at all. We don't need to burn excess fuel by going like a bull out of a gate. We can just take our time and head up to 20,000 feet. Just enjoy the view, enjoy the flight.
Once you reach a comfortable cruising altitude, ladies and gentlemen, the flight attendants will be in the cabin to offer you a cocktail beverage of your choice, along with breakfast.
From the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We're gonna be landing in, about 20 minutes, so I'd appreciate it if you would return to your seats and fasten your seat belts at this time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our approach, we ask that you please check. Make sure that your seatbelts are securely fastened, low and tight across your lap. Please return your seat back and tray tables to their full upright lock position. If you've had occasion to use your carry-on items, please make sure that they are safely stored underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead exposed bin.
So we've got a little bit of a mountain range ahead of us. So we're going to just scoop over the top of that mountain there. And then we'll drop down in our altitude and we'll be on our approach course to land at Albuquerque. Slightly to the left and then round to the right. And then we'll be on our perfect lineup for a landing. Right, we'll start dropping our speed down a little bit because we are getting close to lining up our approach. Okay, so we are still autopilot is still on, and we're adjusting the altitude, and we're adjusting the speed manually with these knobs here, just to bring our speed down and our altitude down. We've got a few turns to make now before our final approach to the runway begins. Okay, I'm going to bring the gear down. Check, gear down and locked. Now we should be turning to the right slightly. I'm just fingers crossed here. Hopefully our autopilot and our approach mode does everything correctly and we can do a nice ILS landing for you. But so far so good. Okay, you can see a little light flickering on the distance just under that mountain range there. That is our airport. That is where we are heading. So I'm going to bring my speed down just a little bit more. 170. Bring my altitude down just slightly. Right, so I'm going to engage the approach hold mode soon. Just wait till this comes around here. Okay, I've engaged the approach hold mode. Engaged. Check. And hopefully our autopilot will line up the runway now beautifully. And that's about as simple and as basic as it is, guys. You load your flight plan properly at the beginning. Your ILS and your autopilot, your GPS is everything loaded into the computer for you. So the plane virtually flies itself. All you have to do, you can control the speed and the altitude manually. I'm going to reset the... Okay. Just reset the approach hold. Those diamonds have to be in the right place when you push the approach hold. So I've done that. And we are now lined up with the runway and coming in for a lovely straight landing. Now you can see this diamond is in the middle, lined up with that center line, and this diamond is lined up with that, with the middle of the display. So that means we're right in the exactly right place where we're supposed to be for the ILS landing. We're in exactly the right altitude and the right direction and heading. There we are right there. I think we can drop the speed down a bit more. And as we come in, we have to turn off the autopilot. Okay, let's turn off the autopilot, the auto throttle, disengage the autopilot. Not quite in the middle, but there we go. For some reason, my reverse thrusters did not come on. So I don't know what happened there. But we can take our flaps up now. Well, here we are at Albuquerque. Never been here before, never been to this airport before. I found the terminal, so I got a little bit lost when I arrived, which is not surprising. I normally do end up lost at some stage of the flight. But it was a long flight. I did it in real time. I didn't fast forward the time. I didn't do a time lapse or anything. I actually flew the whole flight from Las Vegas to Albuquerque in real time. So there's quite a few hours involved, sunrise to sunset. But I put the autopilot on and went away, had a sleep. I went away and did some other things I had to do. So I didn't actually sit here in front of the computer for all those hours, 8 hours or 7 hours or however long it was. I went away and did some other stuff. But it was fun. I loved flying this 737. The landing was a little bit rough, a little bit hairy, as you saw. I need to work on my landings on this plane. I need to do more flights and practice my landings on the 747. But I loved flying this plane and I want to do it again. Hope you enjoyed the video. Any comments, put them below. But I hope you enjoyed it. What would you like to see? Some more 747, 737. I'm going to show you the 737 on the next video, the one I painted, the PMDG 737-700. I painted it in the Emerald Harbour Air colours and it came up just beautiful. So I'll show you that, and also I think we'll do some more flying in this lovely 747 Queen of the Skies. But there we go. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the plane and the scenery as we travelled to Albuquerque today. Take care, everyone, and stay safe. Ciao.